What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Tevin Jameer back at it again with another episode of the Hate It or Love It podcast. I just thought about it. I probably shouldn't be saying what's up, YouTube, because this goes on like multiple platforms, but that's just something I'm used to saying. I've been saying that for like almost the past decade that I've been making videos and stuff like that. But actually no, it's been like 2 decades almost, because like I started making like YouTube videos, not even this channel, but like my oldest channel. I started making videos almost in like 2009, 2010. So like, yeah, it's been a long time I've been making videos. But all right, that little random tangent aside, today it's really going to be a short episode, not too much. Just a couple of updates. There is some topics that I also like to talk about and stuff like that. So first off, guys, I think I might actually be making the gaming channel. I'm not sure yet. I'm still thinking about it, but I might be making that gaming channel. Recently this week, me and my mom was cleaning out the basement, and basically I set up like a little workstation in the basement, and I bought a mini PC for that workstation, and pretty much video editing and all of that is so much easier at the workstation. So, more gaming videos might be done. That's partly why I was kind of slowing down on gaming videos, because like in order for me to do that, I feel like I would have to produce a lot more content quicker, because I've always had my laptop, but editing on this laptop is starting to get slow. So I wanted to get a mini PC so that I could, edit 10 times faster. But also now having like two devices that can edit, I could probably edit the podcast on one thing and then have gaming videos being edited on another, so that I can try to get the content out faster for y'all. So gaming channel might happen, and especially expect, now that I have the mini PC and that whole workstation, that I'll have like a lot more content coming out for y'all and whatever. Another quick update is my short film. I finished the script. Me and my friend has been trying to find actors for the movie. We're setting up shot lists and all of that. So we're trying to shoot for the end of October. Filming would only have to take one day, so we're trying to get the filming out of the way that one day, and pretty much after that it's going to be all editing and all of that. But right now we're just trying to cast people. We're trying to figure out the best day for everybody, for all of us to get together and put it together. But so far, I've been getting a lot of good reactions from the script. People have been enjoying it. And all it really takes right now is actors. We have location, we got the story down, so it's really all just, finding actors. And it seems like we already have a majority of the cast already casted. We just got a few more roles that we got to find, but pretty much the movie is coming all together, and I cannot wait for you guys to see it, because I've always said throughout every video or every phase of my channel that I've been in, whether you guys been with me through the old game videos, and when I used to put out majority music, when I me doing this podcast, the main thing I always said I wanted to be was a filmmaker. And while I sprinkled it, here and there, me making like videos for class and stuff like that, or just making videos for fun, pretty much I've always wanted to be a filmmaker. And me making this short film is pretty much gonna be my first time ever like making a proper film. Like, I wrote a proper script, finding actors, and now directing pretty much my first short film. So I'm glad that I can finally like make something like that for y'all, so that it's not just me talking about it, it's me actually doing it. That's the one thing, because I've been wanting to do this film stuff since I was a little kid, and now me finally making my short film is something special for me. And all it's gonna lead to is, and I'm manifesting this right now, it's gonna lead to awards, it's gonna lead to recognition in the industry, it's gonna lead to a lot of big things. I know this short film is gonna lead to a lot of big things. So I just want to say I can't wait for y'all to see it. And for anybody that's been here throughout the journey the whole time, thank you. I know it's been a long journey, but the movie is gonna be out soon. I'm kind of hoping the strike will end, very soon so that I can like start pushing it like the way that I want to. But no matter how long the strike is going to go, I still plan on trying to release this movie either later this year or early next year. The thing is, I did originally want to release it in October, but the fact that, movies take a lot of planning and I literally just finished the script, like, obviously I'm not going to get my October release, and I'm very stunted on when to release it because November, while that could still be a good time, like I also got to consider, because I also want to put it in festivals, I got to consider like requirements for festivals and stuff like that. But then also the other thing is around the November December time, it's all about Christmas, holidays. Me dropping a random horror movie in the middle of Thanksgiving Christmas season might be a little rough. So if not sometime in November, I'll say that I'll probably drop it early next year, which wouldn't be too bad either because then, the hype from Christmas and all that have died down and all the focus can really just be on this movie that I'm releasing. So, yeah. Like I said, short film is going to be on the way soon. Of course, since I'm directing it, I probably won't have the time to vlog, but what I will do is I'll probably ask somebody on set or maybe even invite one of my friends that's not working or whatever to be the vlogger for that day, because I do want to keep releasing content leading up to the movie so that everybody is still interested. So yeah, as more news about the short film comes out, I will let y'all know. I already said before that as I'm making the short film, there might be a little hiatus on the podcast, but we'll have to wait and see. It just depends on how much work, really goes into the film. But leading into the first topic, and like I said, y'all, this is a very short episode, but this is just stuff that I felt like talking about. But leading into the first topic, this is an actor that I mentioned before on the podcast when I was talking about like my dream castings for Miles Morales in the MCU. Alex Hibbert. So Alex Hibbert, he is best known for, actually he was the little kid version of Chiron in Moonlight, if you guys have seen that movie. But ever since Moonlight, he's actually been the leading star of Showtime's The Chi, a show based around like Chicago and basically just the lives of multiple people in Chicago. When the show first originated, it was about 4 different characters and how they were all tied to one specific tragedy. And basically it was like 4 different perspectives of people in Chicago. You had the guy that played Eazy-E in Straight Outta Compton, I forget his name. His name escapes me right now. But he was basically the main character of the show. You could arguably say that Alex Hibbert was the second main character of the show because he was on a lot of the promotional posters for the show when it first kicked off. He played Kevin, and he was basically like the representation of little kids growing up in Chicago. Then you had other characters like Emmett and Ronnie, who were like, Ronnie was the older guy and Emmett was somewhat like the in-between of Brandon, who was the main character, and Kevin, who was played by Alex Hibbert. So the reason I bring up Alex Hibbert is because he recently announced that he is no longer going to be on The Chi. And it was very interesting to me because, not to spoil the show for anybody that haven't watched The Chi, but when Brandon's character left the show, like I said, Kevin was, easily the second main character of the show. Like, you can tell after Brandon's character left the show, they leaned a lot more on Kevin being the main character of the show, and the fact that he was the little kid, like one of the draws for the show is seeing how him and his friends would grow up over time. And it was a very cool thing having him somewhat be the new lead of the show because, like I said, we're seeing him grow up, we're seeing him and his friends grow up, and now they're basically like almost the leads of the show. I mean, granted, this season, because this was Kevin's last season, aka Alex Hibbert, because this is Alex Hibbert's last season, they put a lot more focus on like the other characters in the show. Like Emmett, you could arguably say is the main character of the series at this point because he's really the only main of the four that's still around in the series. So yeah, Emmett is now the new main character, but Alex Hibbert, it was crazy to see him go. And, you know, in hindsight, it is somewhat, it was somewhat telling that, you know, now that Emmett is the main character and, you know, Alex Hibbert, he's a young guy. He has a lot more of his career left in him. So, you know, it was sad to see him go because like he was one of the main draws for me to watch the show because I was more in his like I was obviously I wasn't as young as him when he started out the show, but he was closer to me in age. So when I watched it, I was really watching a lot for his experience and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, the other characters were cool, but you know, he was a very integral role to the show, and to see him leave the show is very sad. But also, you know, he, like I said in the episode where I was talking about him probably playing Miles Morales, he has, you know, a bright future ahead of him. He's a really good actor. If you guys haven't seen Moonlight, that's definitely a really good film. If you guys haven't seen The Shy, you know, his acting is great in that show. So he has a lot, you know, he has a lot of talent. And I just can't wait to see what else he does with his career. Now, when it said that when they said in the show that Kevin was going to move to California to pursue his dream, I was thinking that maybe we could see like little scenes of him, you know, doing his own thing, maybe a spin-off, or maybe like he'll be gone and he'll just become like a recurring character, or he'll like make guest appearances from now on. But no, the way that he posted about it on Instagram made it seem like this really is it. Like this isn't gonna be a role he's gonna step back into. Now The Shy is still gonna keep going on, so I can imagine that like for the final season, whenever that final season is gonna be, I can imagine that for the final season or for the final few episodes, they are gonna bring him back to like bring everything back together. But the way that in this newest episode they were like showing clips from throughout his years on the show, it is pretty much saying that expect to see way less of Kevin, little to none of Kevin. And like I said, man, Alex Hibbert, he's a very talented actor. You know, him being around my age group, I really hope that, you know, when I do get on as a director, I like to work with him. He's one of the young actors that I'd like to work with. So, hey, you know, I can't wait to see where his career goes. I'm a big fan of Power, so if he and a lot of people from The Shy shows up in Power, so if he was to happen to show up in a Power Universe show, that would be lit. I'm just making this segment to say, you know, Alex Hibbert, thank you for the work that you've done on The Shy, and whatever you do in the future, just know your boy, if in the rare chance you actually watch this, your boy is going to be checking it out. So yeah, that was like a big thing for me because he was like one of the main characters on the show, and it's sad to see him leave. So yeah. The other thing I wanted to talk about is, if you guys know me personally, and I think I've said it before on the show before, I am a big fan of Rod Wave. I love Rod Wave's music, and recently he finally dropped his new album Nostalgia. So how do I feel about it? I mean, of course, I think the album is really good. If you guys listen to Rod Wave, if you guys have not listened to him, check out the album. And if you have already checked out the album, comment down below. Let me know how y'all feel about this new album. But yeah, this new album was really good. It was really good. I think this is the album that Rod Wave said would be his last sad album. I don't know if he was talking about it with this one or his last one, but if this is his last sad album, I guess I could say, like, hey, I guess you could say it was sad enough to where, like, hey, you know, I really don't, like, a lot of Rod Wave's music, a lot of people say that his music is too sad, but for me, it doesn't really feel necessarily sad. But one thing I like about his music is he really does speak on his emotions a lot. Like, that's a big thing in his music. How did he feel growing up? How does he feel now that he's famous? And he really just speaks to the mind of a lot of people. Like that's what drew me to his music, because he speaks a lot of what I think. Like if anybody's listening to this podcast, if you want to know how Tevin Jameer thinks about life, love, the world, all of that. If you want to know, and I'm not trying to be on no dicky and stuff, but like, if you guys want to know how I think, just listen to his music, because a lot of what he says about life, love, the world, hard times, like the way that he talks about it is literally the same way that I think about it. And maybe it's just because he's a Virgo like me, like maybe that's just the Virgo in us. But yeah, like he thinks about, like the way he raps and sings on his songs is literally exactly how I think about like life and stuff. So hey, if his music is considered sad, then maybe I'm just a sad person. I don't know. But yeah, this new album was really good. And I would probably say, cuz I like to specifically separate mixtapes and albums. And you know, I like to do it in different categories, like mixtapes, albums, and just talking whole discography, like those three categories. I'd have to say, out of all his official albums, because his first official album was Ghetto Gospel, I would say out of all his official albums, Ghetto Gospel and moving forward, this is probably my second favorite album from him. My number one is still Ghetto Gospel, because songs like Chip on My Shoulder, Green Light, Cuban Links. There's another one from Ghetto Gospel that I really love. I can't think of it. I can't think of it right now. But Ghetto Gospel just has a lot of songs that I really love. A lot of my favorite songs from him. So, yeah. But this is easily my second favorite album behind Ghetto Gospel. And the one thing that I love about this album, now it's called Nostalgia. And one thing that I love is he's a very sample heavy artist. Like he uses samples a lot and stuff. Or you can see his inspirations. Like he uses a lot of quotes from Tupac. He uses a lot of quotes from like Boosie and stuff like that. And this album, when he says nostalgia, he draws from a lot of classic or old songs, or just a lot of classic works. Like probably my favorite song on the album, Long Journey. I didn't even know it because I don't listen to Boosie as much as like a lot of other people, but I found a TikTok where they showed like how the hook of Long Journey is basically just his reimagination of a song from Boosie. And then he has a song called Turks and Caicos featuring 21 Savage, where the hook of that is basically Jay-Z's song Girls, Girls, Girls. And he makes it into like a little more of a R&B type ballad or whatever. Another song is 2018, which I don't know if this is like a continuation of his song 2019 from his I think it was his Hard Times album. If it's called Hard Times, you guys know what I mean. It's like the album where like the cover is all black and whatever. But yeah, 2018 is basically, which I didn't know, is basically a sample but also somewhat a remix of this one song, What Are You Doing Now? But I think my second favorite song, or it's tied with Long Journey, but my second favorite song on the album, Great Gatsby. Now, I love the Great Gatsby movies. In in high school, obviously, that's like one of the required readings that a lot of high schools had people read. So I read the book. In high school, we watched both versions, the first movie adaptation and then the Baz Luhrmann adaptation. And yeah, Great Gatsby is one of my favorite stories of all time. Not even just, the book, but also filmmaking wise, especially the Baz Luhrmann version with Tobey Maguire and Leonardo DiCaprio in it. One of my favorite movies of all time. And to hear Rod Wave literally make a song based on that, like, yo. That's why I said, yo, Rod Wave is literally one of my favorite artists. Like I said, I ain't trying to be on no dicky and stuff. But Yeah, Nostalgia was a really, really good album. If you guys have not listened to it, I say definitely check that out. Besides the songs that I named, some of my other favorite is, of course, Boys Don't Cry is like one big one that everybody keeps talking about. Call Your Friends, Fight the Feeling, or Can't Fight the Feeling. The title track Nostalgia is really good. Like, there's a lot of great songs on that album, hence why I say it's my second favorite album from him. Now, if we're talking whole discography, it might be my third or fourth favorite project from him, but just know that this is probably my favorite album since Ghetto Gospel. Like, this Nostalgia, yeah, Rod Wave really went in with this one. And if this truly is going to be his last sad album, I'm really curious to hear the future of his career because, not that all his projects are sad. Like Hunger Games 3, I could say is like a straight balance of sad but also lit music. Even his other album, even his other project that had Heart on Ice on it, and not the remix with Lil Durk. I mean like the original Heart on Ice. Lost at Sea. I think that's the name of the project. It was like a house in the middle of the sea, if you guys know which one that is. I'll put it up on the screen. Actually, every album I'm talking about, I'll put it up on the screen somewhere. But yeah, like that project is still probably over Nostalgia, but Nostalgia is a really good project. And if you guys have never listened to Rod Wave, like I would recommend listening to this first. But yeah, Nostalgia, I'm really wondering how the rest of his career is about to go because he's known for his sad songs. Like me listening to his whole discography and being a big fan of him, obviously I know he makes more than just sad music, but he's known for his sad songs. He's known for his sad vibe. So I do think it would be an interesting approach if this next album is not going to be like that. And I can already see somewhat little tidbits of him going back to more of a lit style like he did with his Hunger Games series because he had a song called Hunger Games 4, which is called HG4 on here, which gave that Hunger Games vibe, and it was like more of a lit song than a sad song. He had another song called Get Lit or Back Lit, and basically he says on the song like get out your feelings and get you a bag. So he is somewhat slowly going back to more of that lit type style, more of that like trap type style. And even it was teased that he's probably going to do a collab album with NBA Youngboy. So I know if he does something like that, we are definitely going to get more of a hard hitting lit sound to Rod Wave because like while Youngboy does make a lot of like sad songs too, he is more known for his more hard lit like gritty sound. So I would love to actually hear a collab album between Youngboy and Rod Wave. Like I like Rod Wave's music so much more than Youngboy. This isn't gonna be like when I listen to Youngboy's albums and like I got to the Rich the Kid and Youngboy album and I was mostly listening for Youngboy. Like this in this case, if they do make a collab album, I'm really mostly gonna be listening to Rod Wave. But I do like Youngboy enough to where I'm not just gonna sign out as soon as he starts rapping or whatever. So yeah. Rod Wave, that was a really good album, and I just hope that whatever direction you take in the future, it would be cool to have him make a Hunger Games 4. I'm not gonna lie, that would be really cool if he made a Hunger Games 4 because his Hunger Games series is a really good series. It's almost like how I see PNB Rock's R&B series. Like, I'm glad that you were on. I'm glad that you made like these albums and whatever, but I do want a Hunger Games 4. That mixtape series is a really good series. So, yeah. Like I said, if you guys are fans of Rod Wave, let me know how you feel about it. If you guys never listened to Rod Wave, check out the album and come back and let me know how you feel about it. Let's talk about it. But the last topic that I want to talk about on this episode is somewhat a life philosophy that I'm starting to pick up more. Which, I mean, I was already somewhat on this type of time, but then I saw this on TikTok, and now I'm like, all right, I can actually like rock with how they talked about it. So there's a theory that I saw on TikTok called the burnt toast theory, and the thing about the burnt toast theory is, say this is the scenario: you're getting ready for work and you accidentally burnt your toast, and you're like, dang, this is gonna make me later to work. All right, let me put some new toast in and then I'll head out. Basically, how the theory goes is that because you burnt that toast and now you have to spend more time, putting new bread in the toaster before you leave for work, that burnt toast was actually saving you from something bad happening, or it, because you don't have to just think about it in terms of like it's stopping you from getting into something bad, but also that burnt toast might have, helped you out in the future with avoiding something, or either you were just on time for something good to happen to you. So basically, it's really just looking at life half full instead of looking at it half empty in a way. But I like how they basically framed it, because there's a lot of inconsistencies. There's a lot of bad things that happen in life to people, and we always think like, why do bad things happen to good people? Why did this have to happen to me? I did the best I could, but why is this bad stuff happening to me? And I'm not gonna lie, for like the past 2 to 3 years, there was like something that happened, and there was like something that happened to me like 2, 3 years ago. And no, guys, don't be asking me what it is. I'm talking to the people that personally know me. Do not ask me what it is, because whatever you think it is, it's really not. But there was something that like happened to me 2 or 3 years ago, and to this day I still kind of question like, why did this happen to me? And I see the other people involved in it, and I'm like, why does their lives come out better than mine and stuff like that? But truth be told, I was spending so many times thinking about the negative that came out of it, when there's a lot of positive that came out of it. Like, you know, that's basically what the burnt toast theory is. I'm disappointed that how things happened, but when I really think about it in the long run, I actually dodged a bullet really badly. So yeah, that's the philosophy that I really just been trying to be on lately. Like I said to y'all before in like a past episode, like I don't know why. Maybe there is some truth, because I denied it in the last episode with Al and Seth. The whole thing of like, once you turn 25, your brain stops developing and stuff like that. I denied it then, but the more I think about it, maybe that's true, because the closer that I got to being 25 years old, the more that I'm thinking about life more in a positive way. I'm thinking more about how I spend my life, because one thing I also said to one of my coworkers at work this week, because we have this one coworker that loves to complain about a lot of things. This is an older person. They love to complain about a lot of things. And I'm like, as old as you are, and all you want to do is just sit around and complain, that just sounds like a waste of a life. Like, you live this long of a life, you could be spreading positivity from all the lessons that you learn. You could be doing so much more, but all you do is literally complain every time I talk to you. And when I think about life, I don't want to be like that type of old person that just sits around and complain about everything. I want to be that type of old person where I look back at my life and I'm like, dang, I've been through a lot of things, but now I can spread positivity, I can spread wisdom, but also at the same time, it's like, I want to appreciate that I was able to live all that life. Like, you know, when we think about a lot of bad things that happen to us, like, of course, we're human. We're going to feel the bad emotions. And this isn't me saying don't feel the bad emotions, because trust me, and a lot of the stuff that I go through, I definitely still do feel a lot of those bad emotions. But at the same time, we also got to recognize that some good can come out of things, and then as future generations of our family, or you never know, you might befriend a younger person someday, and you'll be able to spread that wisdom and guidance that you wish somebody would have told you like back in the day. So, you know, basically, that's just the type of mindset that I've been on lately. I think I told y'all before, I'm a very deep thinker. Like, I think a lot. So, that's just the type of time I've been on. I'm really just on this burnt toast theory thing, but I'm also just on how do I want to spend my life and how do I want to think about life. Because I'm really trying to be more in a positive mindset. And I mean, I don't know if the people around me can see that. I don't know. But I just know personally, me, that we're humans, we're growing, we're changing every day. And I just like to think about what do I contribute to other people's lives, but also how do I see life? Because, truth be told, I don't want to look back at it complaining and disappointed about everything that's going on in my life. I rather just look back at the good and bad times and pull apart what did I learn from it, what good came out of it, and all of that. So I basically bring that up to say, you know, for anybody that might be going through something, I hope that the words I just said might help you out and stuff like that. So yeah, that was about it for all the topics that I had today. I really wanted to put an episode out for y'all, so I just felt like talking about a few things. Big thing, I reached 200 subs recently. Actually, as of today, when I looked at it, I reached 202 subs. So that is a really big thing. I'm very hype about that. Reaching 200 subs. I know that's not a big number, but it's just big to me because, like I said, I've been doing this YouTube thing for so long. The podcast has brought me a lot of success, and now I'm trying to venture out with, you know, making this short film. And of course, when I put out the short film, it will also be on this channel. But it's just amazing that, like, you guys actually do take time out of your day to, like, listen to me talk. Because sometimes I just be rambling. Sometimes I'll just be saying, like, my thoughts out of nowhere and going in completely different directions than I planned. But you guys still sit here and give me time out of your day to listen. And to finally reach 200 subs, like, that just shows that there's people out there that's really willing to support me, and that just also shows that there's people out there that I can personally connect with. So for everybody that's subscribed, thank you. Thank you for this, you know, coming along with me on this journey. And just like what I said earlier about the film, not even just the film, but just more content is going to be on the way. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the podcast. And guys, we're not slowing down with guests. Next week, I am supposed to have another guest. Actually, this one is a returning guest. This guy has been making a lot of moves, and he's possibly going to be in my movie. Actually, it's not even possibly. I already told him he got a role. So yeah, this guy that's going to be on the next episode of the podcast, he's going to be in my movie, and he's been making a lot of moves recently, so I cannot wait to have him on. And also, doing the group episode last week really put a lot of thoughts in my mind about, like, future group episodes. I have ones with, like, certain themes in mind. I also have ones where personally, I'm not even going to be on the screen. Like, I might be behind the cameras making sure everything goes well, but I want to get, like, multiple people together to have discussions. I'll moderate it, but I'll probably be more behind the scenes moderating and, you know, checking the equipment and stuff like that. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I just know that I have a lot of group episodes in mind with specific themes, specific topics, specific people, and stuff like that. So yeah, just know, you guys know me at this point. Like, when something happens, or when someone says something, or when something comes in my mind is just getting to rambling. So yeah, like I said, thank you to all the subs. Thank you guys for checking out this episode. If you're new, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you're returning, comment down below. Let me know how you feel about some of the topics that I talked about. And with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, since there wasn't really much. But with all that being said, Tevin Jameer, signing out. See y'all on the next one.